the ultimate alternative music channel. This is Revolution Radio.
What happened? What happened? And we're all here now. Let's have another round of applause for Emily Mack, shall we? Oh, dear. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened there. That was absolutely bizarre. But Emily, thanks so much for joining us tonight. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Honestly, we've been looking forward to this now all week. So this is great. And now we can hear each other. This is wonderful. Yeah. So as I say, I do sincerely apologize for that. I don't know what happened. There's really no sense in spinning the theme music because, well, I was going to do that earlier. And so Dimetre, a land acknowledgement, please.
Okay. Canadian as Fuck acknowledges that the land on which we're meeting is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. And Canadian as Fuck also acknowledges that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit.
This is a podcast that we call Canadian as Fuck. It runs every 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time each and every Monday night. Myself, Dimetre Alexiou, who sits beside me. Unfortunately, our friend Derek is not joining us this evening. I was actually going to tease him, Dimetre, and I decided against it. I'm not going to make fun of him this week. He's a good guy, and I feel bad for him. He really is actually under the weather, so I genuinely feel bad for him. Get better soon, pal. We're going to get things going with a track that I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we read through our friend Eric Alper, had 25,000 streams in a week.
Yep.
Wow. Not exactly a week. It took a little bit longer. It was maybe a little more like 3 weeks or a month. But, I'm very flattered that people thought I got that many streams that quickly.
I think... Technically speaking, if you hadn't have said anything, we would have believed you.
Oh, no, I shouldn't have said anything. I let the cat out. No, but it's hilarious. This is what I think is so funny about the internet. It's rumors get started. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. You know what?
But having said all that, I think this is the beginning of what's going to be a big 2023 for you.
Yeah. I completely agree.
I think we should just get to it.
That's it. Right? It's called Kills Me to Love You, our new bestie, Emily Mack, to Revolution Radio. Canadian as Fuck, episode 49. Emily Mack is live on Revolution Radio.
Fuck your games, 'cause all I do is lose. Your love is fake, and your lips are loose. Devil's muse, your blood.
Freaking awesome.
So that was Emily Mack with Kills Me to Love You on Canadian as Fuck on Revolution Radio in partnership with Crier Media. And we have Emily Mack with us on the program tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Awesome.
So yeah, we have a few questions for you.
Well, we have a number of
Cool.
questions.
Yeah.
Strap
Yeah.
in. There we go.
So I don't know. You probably are going to agree with me about this, but it seems to me
Okay.
that rock and roll is kind of like the domain of women right now. And you are because you are a supporter of the Queens of Rock and Roll Showcase series.
Yeah, I've that's my series. I've put on some special like showcases with other female artists, and it's been like a really great way to meet and network and support. And there are like so many great local female fronted bands in Toronto and around
Absolutely.
Canada.
Yeah,
But-
absolutely. Like because like we here at Canadian as Fuck are huge supporters of the Beaches.
No,
bro.
Yeah.
And it just seems to me like there are no men rocking like Canadian women currently do. And like you're just more evidence of that. And like I was just wondering, do you have a theory on why that is right now?
I mean, I can only speak for myself personally. I feel like for several years, I like just pushed down my rage and then it couldn't stay down any longer. And rock felt like a good vehicle for that. So I'm thinking that might be why some of the other women are getting into it, because it's still like, even in these modern times, there's still a lot of people that don't accept anger, especially from a woman. And so like it's like an outlet where you can maybe say those things that are not the nice girl things.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's amazing to hear that, because going back to 1995, I believe, Alanis Morissette got massive pushback from her debut album, Jagged Little Pill. Well, her debut rock album, Jagged Little Pill. You know, people are like, you can't say those things. It's like, well, what are you talking about? Of course I can. You know, so yeah, no, I think it's fantastic that that women are rocking these days. Basically,
Yeah.
just like Dimetre says, that's really the way that it is with so many amazing artists and bands out there. So. Yeah,
and I love Alanis. Like I remember the first time I heard her on the radio, I was up north in a cabin and I ran from one side of the cabin to the next. I was like right by the radio. I'm like, who is this? Because I'd never heard anyone sound like her before.
Yeah. Oh, shit, totally
Oh, wow.
original, completely original. Yeah, for sure.
Totally blew me away and inspired me.
When did songwriting start for you? Sorry, Dimetre, if you don't mind me asking. But just like to sort of go back to the beginnings here, if we could, and find out what's the story.
Okay, so like as a kid, I used to like make up songs to myself when I was trying to fall asleep, like at night. So I guess maybe that's where it started. Those were not rock songs.
I was going to say, did you sleep very well?
I had nightmares.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But no, it's been like years of development, and I still feel like that I'm going to continue on that journey of trying to like write more and get even better. Like it feels like a continuing journey. And I did spend quite a bit of time like in cover bands, which was really cool and fun. But part of me inside always wanted to write. And at a certain point, I made that decision and I was like, okay, no, I got to do this for real. I got to learn how to write my own songs and co-write. I love co-writing too. It's fun to be able to like throw your ideas off of someone so that you're not like throwing your own self against the wall. You're bouncing off them, because sometimes it can get frustrating too.
Yeah, definitely.
Who were some of your favorite bands to cover, or artists to cover?
Oh, well, there's a lot of different ones. I mean, like currently I still like tend to throw like a cover song or two in my set. I love Heart.
No, right on.
Yeah.
Right on. Good for you.
Uh,
Love this.
And I have
love the
covered-
Wilsons. Yeah.
Oh my God. Ann Wilson, just like
Oh,
the
both-
She's
ultimate.
got to
of
be
them-
hard to cover, though.
both of them are
God
so.
damn.
Yeah.
I think both of those two ladies are so underrated. They are so underrated. I really do. They're just. They're both brilliant in their own right. Nancy's just a fantastic guitar player too. So anyway,
Oh,
sorry.
yeah.
Sorry.
Alana Miles, I have covered Black Velvet before, and she's another Canadian woman that
Bravo.
very inspired by.
We just
Oh,
played her
somebody-
last week on the program, actually.
Oh, amazing!
Yeah, we just played Alana last week. Yeah.
And I also do like it's fun to cover guys' songs too. Like I've done like
Absolutely.
Personal Jesus, I've like Depeche Mode, I've done In Excess. You know, so I like to mix it up. And I mean, one of the things that's kind of fun for me about doing rock is I also used to like sing like blues and like old timey, like jazz blues songs. And so I think that gives me like a respect of where it all kind of came from. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
Oh, awesome.
But so Kills Me to Love You.
Yeah.
This was like something that came out of a session with your producer, Dijon Martino.
Martineau. Yeah.
Martineau.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looks okay. So
Don't worry, I mispronounce everything. So
Dimitri usually pronounces like a lot of French last names with hockey players. So
so like
Yeah.
now this was like a little how can you tell us a little bit about the story of that session and how it came out?
So it was interesting. We were like, we had a meeting before, and we decided that we were thinking of working together. And we're like, well, why don't we start with a co-write and see if we have that like chemistry of working together? And, you know, like we're doing the co-write and we're throwing out ideas. Like just sometimes like you just like say, oh, let's talk about this theme, or like you're saying things, but sometimes nothing's sticking. And it was a bit like that at first. And so I'm just like throwing out ideas. And then like out of my mouth it popped Kills Me to Love You. And it literally popped out. Like I wasn't thinking of it. And we were both like, ooh, okay, there's something there. Like as soon as I said it, we both knew it was something. So we built the song around that.
how do you start? I'm interested. Sorry, Dimitri. I'm interested. I'm always interested with singer-songwriters.
Yeah.
How do you put a tune together? Like do things start out with you with like a melody idea, or do you have chords in your head or words? Like how do things start for you?
Definitely not with chords, because I'm not the best at playing instruments.
Okay.
So I tend to be more like lyrically. So now I can't
got it.
talk.
Lyric-esque?
Yeah.
and melody driven, and also like sometimes I'll get like a concept of something I'll want to write about, and then I'll either try to figure out the chords myself, or I really enjoy co-writing with someone who's better at like say guitar and that kind of stuff, and then they can bring that side to it all. Like one of my favorite things to do when I co-write with someone is find someone whose their strengths are my weaknesses, and then vice versa. And I feel like then you kind of like make this awesome thing together.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And so has that experience with Dijon?
Yeah.
Dijon? Okay. Has that
Dijon,
experience
yeah.
has that experience carried on into more songs that you're going to put together this year?
Well, I actually have a 5-song EP. It's just not out yet.
Okay.
So the songs are already all recorded. So I'm definitely going to I haven't decided yet, because as you guys know, the music industry is kind of like the Wild West now. So it's not like there's one way of doing things. So I don't know if I'm going to release it all in one big chunk or just do one more single and then do the whole thing. I also have some acoustic versions of my songs, which I'm excited about because I like playing around. Like I think a good song can be done several different ways.
Absolutely.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
Right.
You might be hearing one of the other singles off the album next, or you might be hearing an acoustic version of Kills Me to Love You or Whiskey.
Okay.
So there's going to be some fun surprises. And yeah, so like all those songs are already written, and I do want to do some more co-writing soon and get back in the studio soon, because I have a whole bunch of other, like I do have a bit of a catalog, but it's one thing at a time, I guess.
So
Yeah.
so this is an interesting strategy then. Like before we went on the air,
Mhm.
the three of us were talking about like social media strategy and everything. And you
Yeah.
were talking about TikTok. So let's so all right. So you're talking about like we're really talking about marketing the music now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's a
So-
huge part of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. So what are your thoughts on TikTok as a platform for marketing?
I think it's pretty good. I think the way, at least what I see trending now, and I'm not a TikTok expert, is that people seem to like personable TikToks
Yeah.
that connect with them, with the personality, with the story behind the song, maybe like a day in the life, something personal. If it gets too advertising, I feel like I'm making up
Yeah.
a billion words.
Yeah, no.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not as cool on TikTok. Like my ones where I've gone a little more that direction do not get as many views. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So then what do you think you did to make that got such a huge response for Kills Me to Love You? Like how did you draw all those streams? How do you think you did that?
Well, I did work with someone who was helping me with
Absolutely.
publicity and that kind of thing to get it out there on playlists. So I didn't do it all on my own. But I think it's also important with rock to target different audiences, because rock, is really big, in the States as well as Europe and South America. So I think it was important to not just focus, like, I know we're on Canadian as fuck and I love Canada, but like we didn't just focus on that market. And I think that helped as
Mhm.
well. Yeah.
You can't
Okay.
focus on just Canada anymore. You can't do
No,
it, right?
no.
And it's interesting too to see bands like a 3 Days Grace or something like that
Mhm.
kind of reached out to the American market and just had a couple of tunes, Home and I Hate Everything About You, and just
I love that song.
connected with an audience in the United States and just grabbed them and said, okay, we've got you now and we're not letting go. And I think that's the best thing that you can do. And that's, I think, one of the wonderful things about the industry these days is to see someone like yourself getting 25,000 streams, whatever, in a week or a month. It really, technically speaking, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, because that's a hell of a lot, right? And that's the type of thing that a record company is going to look at it and say, actually, that's a start, right? So, I think in a lot of ways, it's great to see the industry these days, the way that it is and the way you can reach out and touch people differently. But like you say, you really got to work that social media strategy, I feel.
Oh yeah. And like, I try to as best I can, and I definitely don't. I mean, what is perfect? I was going to say, I don't think I'm perfect at it. But like, I think it's showing different things, that go behind the scenes. Like I did do some videos that were kind of fun, and I think I might do some more like behind the scenes where, I talked about, well, I showed a little clip of like my bass player playing the bass line. And like, I talked about this background vocal thing I did in the song that was really cool. So I try to kind of let people in a little bit on the making of the music, which I think is pretty exciting.
And I saw the Ben Healy video too.
Oh, I love Ben. Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah. What was that? What was the Ben Healy? Talk about
Ben.
that.
It's just basically showing him doing that kick-ass guitar solo, putting that kick-ass guitar solo and Kills Me to Love You together.
Nice.
And like, is he gonna be part of your band on April 21st at the Bovine Sex Club?
Yes, he is. I'm so excited. Yeah, it's gonna be an amazing show. He's playing with me. Stacy's playing with me, who also played on the album as well. So it's gonna be an awesome night.
Awesome.
You're playing the Bovine. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Very rock and roll.
I haven't been to the Bovine in probably, I don't know, 15 years, something like that. it's probably still exactly the same inside.
Probably. I think that's
Yeah.
part of its charm.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the Bovine, the Horseshoe, all those places. Queen West is just where it's at. Well, it was where it's at anyway. It's nice that there's a few places that have managed to stick around throughout all of that. I know that you talked. It's great to hear you talk about being in a cover band back in those back in the earlier days. I find a lot of great musicians, great singers, great songwriters do get into that cover band circus, and it's a great place to start. Aside from the covers that you were mentioning, what were some of your earliest influences? Not necessarily for playing in a cover band, but what were some of the things that you listened to as basically as a kid?
Well, I did listen to Tina Turner, and I listened to a lot of Motown actually, because my dad grew up in Windsor, across the river from Detroit.
Yep.
So, and I remember my mom playing Crosby, Stills and Nash. I also remember dancing around and singing along to Atlanta Miles stuff. And then, yeah. So there was a wide variety of stuff I was listening to.
I think it's no wonder then that you've sunk into the sound and style that you have if you're pulling things from not only Atlanta Miles but Motown as well.
Oh yeah.
It's interesting to hear that sort of melting pot that you've created. It's awesome. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Really. Like the songs I've been listening to, your stuff I've been listening to, it's just fucking awesome. So
thank
keep
you.
it up. It's wicked.
Thank you.
So this 5-song EP that you say that you have in the ready to unleash on us.
When's it coming out?
Yeah.
When's it coming out?
I don't have the exact date yet.
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry. I know.
But she's figuring out her strategy. As you said, Emily, you're like, should I do it single by single? So I single. And I'm thinking so, and I'm noticing that more and more young artists are going the 5-6 song EP route as opposed to a 45-minute album.
Full-length album,
yeah. So, and I'm thinking, do you think that's the new way that's the way that things are now with streaming? Just every so often doing a 5-song EP.
I mean, some people are even saying the EP is dead and you should just do singles. And I'm like, what? I hope that one day I do, I do really want to do the album, the full album, 10, 12 songs at some point. But it's funny because this started off as a 3-song EP. It was going to be even smaller. And then we got stopped partway through recording by the pandemic and everything being locked down, which was very depressing. I'm like I literally was going to get in the studio the next week, and then I was like, or not. And
the video with Ben Healy actually shows him in a mask doing the solo.
Yeah. So we recorded some of this stuff was recorded when we were in partial lockdown. When things were opened up again, but you still were kind of nervous and wearing masks and had to follow guidelines. So it was a kind of unusual recording process, to say the least. But what was kind of cool is partway through that pandemic, I went from being depressed and being oh God, am I going to get to even finish this, to being okay, I see a light at the end of the tunnel. Let's add 2 more songs onto this EP. So it ended up growing in that process. And one of the songs, it's not released yet, but is inspired by the experiences we went through. I couldn't help but put something on there that I had to put my creativity into that and write about it.
So many writers have talked about the pandemic. It's part of our speech nowadays. It's part of our it's part of the arts. It's part of everything, because just like you say, you couldn't help but be inspired by it, essentially. And unfortunately, we had to be inspired by a pandemic. But
oh God,
at the end of the day, it is what it is, right? So
yeah.
Oh.
So, ladies and gentlemen of the internet, Emily is going to want you to RSVP for her show at the Bovine Sex Club on April 21st, and you can do so at emilymacmusic.com. And before we play your other song, well, whiskey like me.
Mhm.
Do you have anything that you want to tell us about how that song came to be?
Oh, sure. So that song was written a little while back, and it was actually a co-write over the internet, over Skype, so a couple of years ago. And it was mostly written, like there's a few writers on it, but with this songwriter, Jay Stoller, and he's New York based. I think he might be in LA now. And it was really interesting because that was the first song we wrote together. We've written several songs. And I wasn't sure how it would work writing online, but it worked amazing. And at the time, I was coming out of a bad relationship.
Yeah.
And I was talking about this guy who, hadn't treated me the way I wanted to be treated. And I made this joke about, I'm like, oh, and he's so annoying. Like, why am I still hung up on him? Like, I can drink him under the table. And then that's when the Never Drink Whiskey came out of there. And then through that kind of line, the whole song was born.
Oh my God. Rock and roll is such a good fit for a woman who has some points to make. It's like such a great music for a woman like you, and it's yeah. So I think that this is fantastic. Craig, do you
You're
have anything?
awesome. All I want to say is it's great to see what you're doing. Watching you on social media is quite impressive. I've actually learned a lot of stuff from you. To be perfectly honest with you, you posted on Instagram today that you're going to be on the show this evening. It's the very first time that we've appeared on CryerMedia.co, right? So the actual Crier Media website. You hear that, Dean Blundell? It's the first time.
Amazing. Yay.
Thanks to our good friend Emily Mack. We got on the Crier Media website, like right in the feature, right front and center. So honestly, my friend,
not that we're complaining to Crier Media or anything.
We're not complaining. No, we're not complaining. Not complaining. So honestly, my friend, like it's wonderful to see what you're doing. Love the music. Think you're on a great trajectory, and it just, as far as I'm concerned, things are just going to get better. So good for you.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Our pleasure.
Our pleasure.
Yeah. So the show is, Dimetre, one more time.
Canadian as fuck.
No.
Oh, wait.
Emily's live show.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
April 21st at the Bovine Sex Club at
this
9
Friday.
PM.
This Friday.
Yeah.
Go to emilymacmusic.com and RSVP for that show.
Yeah, and you can get tickets just at the door, $15, no extra charges, which is
no
nice
$11 Ticketmaster service charge.
Oh my God, it's out of control. So you can stay away from that and just
Actually, there was a good meme going around on social media recently. If you want to fight back against Ticketmaster, go see a local artist at a local venue.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. I saw that meme too, and I love it because, local music can you really use your support after all that time not getting to do it. I've always loved live music. It makes me come alive, but like I have a deeper appreciation for it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you have more plans for shows after April?
Yeah. Good call. Good question.
I'm definitely going to have more shows coming up, but I'm not announcing them quite yet.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's EmilyMac.com, right?
EmilyMacMusic.com.
EmilyMacMusic.com. Yeah.
Perfect.
If you join my email list and stuff, I'll keep you up to date with everything that's going on.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us at Canadian as Fuck, Emily Mac.
Thank you, and I love the name of the show, by the way.
Thank you.
It's a cromulent name, yeah.
It's
so
there's another word, Dimitri. Just let me pull that one out of the air, and okay, awesome.
So on Canadian as Fuck, on Revolution Radio
Thanks,
in
Emily.
partnership with
Thank you.
Crier Media. This is Whiskey Like Me with Emily Mapp.
I guess you don't have much to give, so you take what you can. This pretty little thing on your arm, do I make you feel like a man? When I'm gone, when I'm gone, when I'm gone, and you're down on your knees. When I'm gone, when I'm gone, when I'm gone, and you're looking to feed. You can hide your weakness, your cheap little secret, but you'll never drink whiskey like me. No, you'll never drink whiskey like me. I'm a top shelf queen and you keep staring at me, but you can't drink me tonight. I ain't your trophy wife. You wanna taste my crown, boy, you can't keep me down, 'cause you're a lightweight baby and I'm world renowned. When I'm gone, when I'm gone, when I'm gone, and you're down on your knees. When I'm gone, when I'm gone, when I'm gone, and you're looking to feed. You can hide your weakness, your cheap little secret, but you'll never drink whiskey like me. No, you'll never drink whiskey like me. No, you'll never drink whiskey like me. Love is easy to see. Need a woman to feel like a king. Oh, babe, when you lie and you cheat, to her lips of a taste so sweet. When I'm gone, when I'm gone, when I'm gone, and you're down on your knees. When I'm gone, when I'm gone, when I'm gone, and you're looking to feed. You can hide your weakness.